Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. The importance of a community of people in the same profession. The importance of a community of people in the same profession. I'm going to tell you why that's very important. And I thought about it the other day. When I was going into my local grocery store. They have a crew that they usually be outside the store at certain times. You catch them at the right time, especially in the morning. All of them are like those DoorDash, Instacart type of folks. They go in and buy food for other people, you know, and it's a community of them. When I say community, I don't mean some like organized community of president, vice president, or something like that. You actually have those though, professional associations, which is along the same thing. But when I say community, just being around like-minded people who do the same things that you do. Do the same things. That's very important, or in the same general industry. You know, and I learned that back when my books first started to take off, especially my book, Nice Guys and Players. I had been in the publishing, been a publisher for 6 years before my first book really took off. And one of the things I found with it, there was a whole network of people in the general industry, everything from writers, editors, small publishers, printers, bookstores. And you know what? One of the things that was great about it was just the community of it, especially when I was in groups with other writers. Because when you're in any profession, you want to be around people who at least get what you're talking about. You can talk shop with. It's very important, you know, it's very important. I mean, and it doesn't matter what the profession is. I remember back in the day when I was playing with this church league football team. And, you know, the guys were just shooting the breeze in different groups. Now, I was kind of the outsider. I didn't really know a lot of the guys. So I was kind of hanging out with a couple, like our quarterback was the minister. He was a minister of a particular church. And then, you know, another player on there, he was an assistant minister. And they were just talking. I was just noting how they were just talking shop. And that's whatever you in. You could be a massage therapist. It's good to be with a good group, a network of people. And in fact, when I was doing the kind of in that writer's circle, publishing circle, just having a conversation with one of the bookstore owners where I would do frequent book signings. I'll never forget, he would talk about this other bookstore that was actually bigger in the area, which I also had books at. And he said, yeah, sometimes, you know, we go and have lunch. We talk about some things. And I'm going to tell you the beauty of it. When you in a community of people, and like I say, they don't have to be formal. You do have formal communities. They don't have to be formal. It could be a bunch. Yeah, I could just say, you know what, why don't we all just go to get some drinks here or something? You know, why don't we go to a party? You can invite them to stuff. You're able to be around people who speak the same cultural, professional language that you do, and it feels good. Now, in the last episode, I talked about being a solopreneur. It's tough to do stuff and really build stuff, and you're by yourself. Because yeah, you can probably look up some stuff online. They probably got books, but when you're dealing with somebody who's in the same industry as you are and really has a positive attitude, not looking at you as a competitor, you can help each other out. You can help each other out. You can get connections that you typically aren't going to get like looking through official channels, you know? Like just even knowing people in other communities, because one of the things I've always said, I was a vendor. In fact, let me talk about that in a second after I say this, but I said I was a vendor. Now, as a vendor, I needed like bags to give to people and everything. Now, when I was in the DC area, you know, and I had mentioned this guy in a long time. He owned 3 buffalo wing places. And I remember me and him rode together to this wholesale area where a bunch of vendors would get stuff at a real cheap price, like food for the vending stands, their hot dog stands, and also like, you know, stuff like paper plates and things of that nature, bags. I would just get a whole bunch of bags. But that came from knowing it, There wasn't anything, well, we didn't have the internet at the time, or at least not at the level it's at now, but there wasn't anything to let you know, oh, let me get it here. And even with the internet, sometimes you really don't know. You really don't know. Sometimes you got to know somebody to get into something. And like I said, I was talking about vending. Remember, I've talked about vending several times. That's a community. When you're at a vending show, that's really a community right there. And then after you do enough of them, you find out people going to like similar shows because they letting each other know. You'll be talking, that's a community. People realize that. Like I remember one vending show, and it was sad because I think the number of people who showed up for it, and I'm not going to mention who it was, and this was given by a person who's had a history of successful shows, but it was a particular something about this show that was different from other shows. And I think, well, I'll just say the individual solved the problem since then, but that was the first time this individual put on this type of show. And you might have had less than 10 people who showed up. So all the vendors were buying from each other and networking. But it was still a community because vendors will understand. If you talk to some vendors, they'll say like, yeah, you know, I had this show here, dealt with this problem here. They didn't have people coming here. There's a very good friend. She'll put on shows sometimes, and she'll hit me up, say, hey, Rom, yeah, I got this thing coming up. You want to come through? I may hook you up. She'll say it to this day, even though I don't vend as much now. But that's part of being in a community. They can tell you stuff. They can help you out. In fact, that same vendor, I remember I was vending at a show. She didn't like what I was wearing. She deals with fashion and everything. She said, Ron, come here. I'm going to put you in another shirt. You wearing this? Come on, man. She actually gave me some clothes. I was like, man. But that's part of the community. Like whatever business you're in, I don't care what it is, whatever business you're in, try to find a community of people similar. Because it's good. They can understand the issues. You can network with them. They can understand little stuff. Y'all can joke around about things that happen that only y'all would understand. But it's very important. Like I said, professional associations, you can find them. You could probably find them. But then smaller stuff like, say you're a soap maker or something. You probably should be around other soap makers. Maybe they can tell you where to get some good packaging, or where to get some good ingredients or something like that. Because the tendency is most people, especially if you're a solopreneur, y'all usually not competing with each other. Y'all not major corporations, y'all can help each other out. So that's very important. That's very important. Always try to be around people in a similar, they're doing the similar things. They can help you out. They can give you a perspective. They know the problems you're going through. They might have gone through it. They can help you solve the problems and weird things that come up. But it's very important because even with solopreneurs, yes, you might be solo in that business, what you're doing, but if you're in a community of people, it don't have to be a lot. It could be maybe a network of people in the same business. It could be 30 people, 20 people, 10 people. Y'all can sit back and talk. Y'all can say, okay, this, and this. And then y'all understand the problems that you're going through. Community is always important. So, tell you what, y'all know the deal. Y'all have a good weekend, but y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.